All right, back it up. Back it up. Okay. Back it up.
What's up? It's the Poorly Edited Podcast in quarantine. Once again, we're getting wild this week. No mics. Who cares? I'm Patrick Lilly.
I'm Lizzy Kates.
I'm Josh Brennan.
My name is Coffee Guy.
Does he know?
He doesn't know.
He has no idea.
It's not over yet, guys.
Hey man, I'm vibing.
I'm Chandler Davis.
I love it.
It was great, bro.
That was good.
Yes.
Nice job, everybody.
Thank you.
That's another Jack White match.
That's another Jack White match. Thank you.
How many do you have left?
I have a lot. I have two books. Oh,
What?
it fucking broke.
Ready.
You hate to see it.
I put it against the matchbook and it broke. Let me do a short match. Listen to that.
Well, that sounded awful.
Look at short match.
Cool.
Damn.
Actually, I have Jack White. That's backwards. I also have Third Man Records, also backwards.
It's a little dark.
It's a little dark, my guy.
Hey, the other setup looks sick though. I
Thanks, man.
love the framing on the music part.
Thanks.
It was good.
It's way better than this framing because I didn't test this framing.
I
So.
can't believe there's even more Star Wars stuff we haven't seen in the corner
Like
now.
where?
I told you guys, he has little
No,
posters.
Those are the posters. Josh, you went to Comic-Con, the
Yeah.
Shanksville Comic-Con. Those are the posters I bought that day, if you remember.
Are you talking about the Ultra C one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A Star Wars poster.
Nice.
A Mass Effect poster, a V for Vendetta poster, and a Halo poster all in one.
Nice.
Damn. And it's
That was
got
a
the
fun
place
day.
of honor behind the door. So when
Yeah,
you open
well,
it, you
it's-
can't see it.
Yeah, it used to be up on this wall right here above me. And
That's
I
good
have
stuff,
it put
dude.
back up. Thank you, sip check.
Forgot again.
Oh,
I
wait.
think it's it.
I was prepped, dude.
Pat knew,
I
dude.
was fucking ready.
knew.
Here, I have this water bottle.
Everybody knows. I don't have
Along with the
energy
sip
by
check at home.
the 3 p.m. All right.
Oh,
so
wait.
that's- Oh,
I didn't hear anything for that.
No, you didn't hear it.
I hate that. It's like a jacuzzi.
You're welcome. It was. It was
It's like
firing up.
it's like a jabroni.
Well, here
All
we are
right.
again.
No one liked that.
That was actually the first time I had ever played live or tested even how that would even work.
Really?
Pretty much, yeah. It was a big deal for me. I practiced playing 4 chords. For
I know.
45
We were
there.
minutes.
No.
Before that even. Well, because I made that song like a while ago and I just forgot it. So I had to like relearn what I actually played.
Right.
But that was kind of a fun process to like, I had to figure out, well, what instrument do I want to isolate that I'll be playing like live against, the backing track,
And you
whatever.
chose against doing the SpongeBob quotes live.
Yeah. Well, so I had considered a few different songs. I had actually wanted to make a whole new song for this and then play it and have it be the first time anyone heard it.
Not just
But
a
I ran
throwaway
out
track.
of time. And not just use a throwaway track, but I ran out of time, so I was doing other shit. And I had opened up that song, and Lizzy turned to me without knowing I had that song open and said I should play that song. And so I was like, well, I guess that means
It's
I
fate.
should play that song, yeah. Even though now I hate it.
Why? I helped you create that
Because
song.
it's- Well, you don't understand. After like,
Mhm.
so you're.
I was
you're
in the
making- you
same
start-
room as him doing that
you
for
start the
hours.
premise, then it's like, oh, there's actually a song here. I like this. You develop it, and then you have to finish it before you start hating it. It's like a race,
Yeah.
because then eventually you just hate it.
Oh, okay.
Oh no.
Cool.
Sure.
But that was a song sampled from one of the greatest SpongeBob episodes of all time, which is the pizza delivery episode. An episode that I think some of us here now more than ever really relate to.
I hate
You
you.
know, it really struck a chord with me watching it later in life after I had lived that life for so long. And
I really got to do that. I got to get my pizza delivery phase out of the way.
Just be an Uber Eats driver.
Honestly,
I'm not doing it earlier because when you do it earlier in life,
It's less sad.
it's less sad. Yeah, yeah.
big agree.
Like, Josh, didn't you? So here's the craziest thing to me. I don't want to put you on fucking blast, but you
Go for it. Son.
delivered at Pizza Hut
I did.
before when you were in college, and now you're delivering at Domino's on the side. And like, why? You know, it takes a strong man to deliver for one shitty pizza chain.
When you defected, which is
No,
crazy.
it's like the Verizon guy that went to Sprint.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I
They
don't
made me an offer I couldn't refuse. I don't know what to tell you, man.
know how anyone would want to go back to that. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I didn't for sure. And when I was delivering at Pizza Hut, it was when I was younger, and it was sort of like more excusable. I feel like because you're delivering and you're young. I think I was like 20 or 21 or something when I was delivering pizzas at Pizza Hut, and I did it for like 2.5 years, 3 years, and it was like a fun like college, like early 20s kind of job. And now I'm turning 25 and I'm delivering at Domino's. But the biggest thing that really drew me back to that was I was working like a warehouse job, which had like a really steady paycheck. And it was a pretty good paycheck too. And I would get like, it was like weekly pay and stuff. It was pretty nice, but it was pretty soul sucking too. It was pretty awful because like it was like me alone for like 8 hours a day. And it was like a later shift too. So I'd get back like super late and I'd be like tired. And I felt like I couldn't do anything except that job. And so I started like immediately looking for something that could replace it while still having like a similar kind of income. And I had a friend who actually, believe it or not, did the same thing. And he's older than I am. He worked at Pizza Hut when I was there.
I believe it.
And then, yeah, it's an interesting ecosystem for sure. But like I went,
mentor.
yeah, he was my pizza mentor. He was my pentor. And I walked into Domino's, I think like to like ask if they were hiring for drivers or something, and he was there. And he basically like got me a job instantly. He just was like, this guy's like, literally, it was so, I didn't even interview, you know, like I just walked in
and he was there.
and he was there, bro.
Right.
Did you walk?
But
I knew you'd
I was
today, Josh. I've been waiting.
he was sitting like crisscross applesauce by the oven. He was
Just
meditating.
levitating, like 3 feet off the floor.
Crisscross apples.
Hey man, what's better than the alternative, which we were taught in school?
I found fucking good pick. I'm sorry. I got very
we talk
excited.
You found a good pick.
I found good
How
pick.
none of us can grow facial hair very well. Well, Josh can.
Borderline.
I don't think.
Josh, you had a full beard
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah, I don't think
I did. I don't know if well is a good way of putting it, though.
I don't know if the mustache is Josh's speed as much as I don't think
No,
it's
not at
mine.
all.
I don't really think, but I just, this is negligence. But now I'm kind of getting into the realm of,
Shaping it. You like
Yeah,
adding some
a little-
styling. Oh
We lost one.
no.
Oh, well.
No,
Oh,
we lost you, Chandler.
Oh, we're back. Oh,
I'm right here. I'm right here.
Oh, we're
Oh,
back.
okay,
All right.
there you go.
He never left, guys. He was always here.
I never left. No, I think I just hate having facial hair now. I feel
agree.
like dirty,
I agree. Yeah.
homeless, and dirty.
Yeah.
If I'm not clean shaven now, it's really weird.
I'm actually planning on shaving tonight. It's funny you should say that. I was
Really?
already planning on doing it for like a couple days now, and I was
do
like,
it
well,
right
I have
now.
off today. Can I just do it? Can I do a shave cam where like this entire podcast
Fuck
I'm
it,
just shaving in the
yeah,
bathroom?
right now.
You're really funny.
Well, you were fully shaved like the beginning of quarantine, right?
I was.
So
Yeah. I went clean shaven, and then I was like, I just want to like let it grow oddly and kind of weirdly. Kind of like the same thing that Chandler and a couple other people that I know were doing. They had like the quarantine beard thing going, and I was like, well, I want to give it a shot. And pretty much immediately I was like, I hate this. So
Wait, so Chandler, is there
can
any
you-
shaving going on like around here for you, or like no shaving
No,
at all?
I don't.
So just
Well,
nothing's
so
growing, or
I get little hairs on like my cheeks, but it's not. I shaved that because it just looks awful. And I shaved the neck now.
That's important.
It doesn't look as. You don't want to have a neck beard. You know, that's a lesson I think I can impart to the viewers is you never want to have a neck beard. It's never good. It's never a good look. I don't think anyone can rock the neck beard and keep their reputation intact. I think it's something it should be avoided.
Only if you can have you have the really long beard down to here so you can't see the hair under there.
Well, but even then, man, I feel like even then you should be lifting it up and getting it.
I think most people do.
Yeah.
I just think it matters less then.
Do you think Jordan Rudess shaves his neck down
Yeah,
here?
of course.
Yeah, he has that.
No, he gets somebody to fucking do it for him. Are you kidding me?
You think he gets someone to,
Yes.
So I'm just picturing
He goes to the fucking barber.
someone else
They
having
shave. They put the cream all over his head. They shave it. They lather up down here. They trim his goatee. You think, dude? He's got people for that.
I guess.
For sure.
And then they grind up the hairs and they put it in drinks and stuff around the world to keep people alive.
They perform alchemy with them.
Ow.
Yeah.
It's dark.
Yeah, Domino's is nice.
That's a good digression.
I do have something to reconcile. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. With you since last week.
Me?
Yeah. I want to know what you've been doing over quarantine. How you've been keeping busy.
I knew you were.
Thanks for asking, Chandler. Thanks for remembering me.
Better late than never, right?
Yeah, right. I've been playing a lot of guitar. I bought a bunch of Steam games that I haven't finished and lost the urge to play.
Like what? Like XCOM Chimera
Like
Squad.
XCOM Chimera Squad, where I got to the point where it was too easy, but I was too lazy to turn up the difficulty because then it'd be hard, and I didn't want to do that either.
Wow. What difficulty is that you were desiring? Is it like playing itself? Like you just want to watch someone play the game at that point?
It was essentially
Not a
like
harder difficulty.
No, it was like all my characters were surviving every mission. I'm like, this isn't what XCOM's about. I'm supposed to be crying with anxiety halfway through the mission. I'm like, I have 3 more rooms to clear. How am I going to do this? And then, yeah. Also, there was what was that called?
Space
Warhammer
Hulk?
40. Yeah, Death Hulk's. Wait, fuck. Deathwing Space Hulk or
Space Hulk.
Deathwing
Yeah.
or something, which is a Warhammer 40K game.
Planet
Fucking
Hulk.
ridiculous and over the top, and it was great. I haven't finished that either though because the gameplay is really repetitive.
Really? It's repetitive? It looked
Yeah.
cool. when you were
No, it
streaming.
was. I played 8 hours of it or something, and then it's just you're doing the same thing every time. And I unlocked all the weapons, so I'm like, there's nothing else really.
So you beat the game essentially.
That game was $45 or what? How much?
Retail, yeah. I got an 80% off coupon though, so it was $8 for me.
Oh,
Nice.
that's tight.
Yeah,
Can I poll the room here real quick?
sure.
Yeah.
Has anyone played Realm of the Mad God?
Yeah,
Yeah, we did that
Where do
on the podcast.
Where do I go? I'm just kind of walking around the Nexus and I don't know what I'm doing.
You're
I
playing
just
now.
finished the
So
tutorial.
you essentially just go into a world through the Nexus, and then you play. And
It told me to go to the beach because the beach was easy. It said.
maybe the game changed a lot since last.
This is
time.
actually a callback to when Storm was playing Realm of the Mad God on
Yeah,
the podcast.
That's so funny. Wow.
Realm of the Mad God is one of those games where you'll spend an hour on a character and then you'll just get fucking one shot in a boss battle.
I'm excited.
Like one of the raid boss battles that happen instanced. There's 100 players all running around. Everyone's just dying, just losing their characters permanently.
It's permadeath in that game.
It's
Yeah.
permadeath.
That's
Yeah, when a
hardcore.
character
Holy
dies,
fuck.
dies. And there's no that's the game. There's no I don't want that
Yeah.
version. It's just how Realm of the Mad God is.
Do you know what else I've been doing? I'm watching those TBT. Fuck, what is it? TBT.
CBT, videos.
2B2T.
2B2T videos. Oh, dude, I'm so happy you're watching those.
Dude, Tony would complain so much because he watched one of them, and
Yeah.
then they showed up in his sub box in the millions for
Yeah.
after that.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, there's more to Minecraft than fucking 2B2T.
It's fucking- That shit's
Are you watching
crazy.
FitMC?
Yeah, dude. I'm watching
Yeah,
FitMC.
FitMC's great. What's up, Fit Fam? It's FitMC here.
Everything's so over the top. Everything's
so
so
funny.
fucking
It's so dramatic.
It's amazing. I love it. I love his storytelling's great though. It's fun to watch.
He
You
keeps
know,
fucking clickbaiting me though. He'll be like, "This
He
is
does.
dark." There's the one who was like, "This is the dark history of this base and
Yeah.
2B2T," and then
Buckle up. Things are
he
gonna get
walks
messy.
around the entire thing, and he's like, "You're probably wondering what the dark secret is. They copied it from a already pre-built base."
Yeah.
I'm like, "What the fuck, dude? I'm
That's fit,
13
fam.
minutes in to get to this."
yeah, they really be like that though.
Yeah.
That's
Good
real.
Some of them are
Narrator.
cool.
He has a good voice.
He is, yeah, no,
he's
he's
got
good
an
at his
amazing
job.
voice,
I
yeah.
just hate him, but I'm going to keep watching his videos because they're
Yeah, of
really
course.
interesting.
I got kind of, I got turned off by FitMC when I started picturing, as I was watching the videos, I started picturing a grown man sitting at his computer saying these things, and that killed it for me. And I haven't watched the videos,
Especially when he's like talking about like in-world stuff. He's like,
Yeah.
Then I secured a duel with this guy. What the
Yeah.
fuck?
It's like,
Meanwhile, there's like a wife and child are in the background, like Fit, get in here and do the dishes, and there's like bills piling
No, he's
behind
like
him.
really good shape though, as the pictures of him that pop up sometimes in his videos show.
yeah, he is.
So I imagine him in the fucking gym, and he's like, "All right, what's my game plan for this duel in 2B2T later?" And he's fucking like pumping out bench. Stop. Is that a gym term, Chandler?
pumping out bench.
Bench. Yeah.
I can't say I've ever heard that,
That's
but
fine.
I mean, I'll say it next time when the gym opens, whenever that is.
Oof,
I'm
yeah.
gonna look at Robert. I'm gonna say, "Hey, Robert, would you like to pump out
Some
bench?"
bench.
I just got an email from the Y, and they're like, "We're still closed, but like, thanks for sticking around."
Thanks for paying your membership. I'm just kidding.
No,
Yeah,
they
seriously.
pause it, which was
Mine
nice.
wasn't. Mine wasn't paused, which is really
Oh,
funny.
no, I had to fill
I
out
didn't
a
have
form
auto
to
withdrawal.
pause it, or
Really?
it kept going. Yeah.
Well, so I'm just lazy then. I need to get
I
on
never
that.
did auto withdrawal because I was lazy and I have to fill out a form, and I always just wanted to fucking bang it out when I got there, and I never wanted to do that. So
Hmm.
it paid off being lazy. But yeah, man, how's Robin the Bad God?
I don't know. I don't know where to go, man.
Dude, fucking just play the game. Like, go to a world and play.
There's like
Fun.
there's these doors to like what look like raid boss names or something.
Those are probably just the normal worlds.
Scared.
Just go through one of them.
All right, I'm going through pirate because that one sounds less scary.
I'm going for pirate. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of at the point where I'm tired of quarantine and I'm very ready for it to be over.
You also said that last week. So.
I know, but it's even more so. It just kind of
Right.
compiles every week. So I will confess to the viewers that tomorrow we are planning as a group. We're planning on
You outing us right now?
doing a little
Touching.
social distance, mask on,
Dad's out.
Full frontal.
outing, full frontal assault on the outdoors. Probably a little
Little soccer.
Little
soccer.
football.
I'm still on the fence if
Football?
soccer's okay, honestly.
I don't think soccer is a good idea.
It's probably just going to be me and Josh anyway.
Yeah,
So.
that's fine.
Well,
Look how dirty Josh is with all that dominance
Josh,
work.
look at his facial hair. Dirty.
Look how dirty.
It's meant to be played with your feet. If you touch it with your hands, you're
Look how dirty
cheating.
I
I
am.
hate that.
Look how dirty I am right now, Lizzy.
Well, just don't get the ball in your mouth.
Yeah, I think I'll be okay.
No face balls.
Oh, also, full disclosure, I am wiping down everything I'm bringing, including the soccer ball too. And I just use my feet to get it around. So
I'm not touching anything anyone else touches.
Not touching
But
it.
If I sanitize my face first, can we still kiss? Like, is that okay?
100%. Yeah.
Chandler doubted that we can only touch it with our feet, and he was like, "At some point, you have to touch it with your
Nope.
hands." So I was like,
No,
"You're
you'd be,
doubting
dude.
our skills,
I'm
bro."
saying to get
Well,
it in
not
the
if you're
trunk of
good.
your car.
No, you gotta
no.
like pick
Get
it
it
up,
out.
I flick
pick
it
it
up in the
up
car
and
too.
in the.
Yep.
Josh
yeah.
How are you
rainbows
gonna
it
get
into
it
the
out?
car every time.
Believe it or not, there's a
He
way to get it
rainbows
out.
it out of the car.
I promise you, Chandler, every time I play soccer, I do not touch a football.
Wow.
I always bring it out with my feet.
I just don't want to be a hypocrite, you know. I think that's the biggest thing. Leave a
thought about
comment down below if you think that we should have gone on that hike, because it will have already happened by the time this episode goes up.
Leave a comment if you think we're
where the in
hypocritical.
memoriam pops up where 3 of us died on that hike.
Yeah,
Right.
I've seen people going. I feel like the hike is fine. Like that's such a.
Well,
You
look,
can
here's the
definitely
thing. So
do
it's
that without
the
fucking.
point of social distancing is that we don't spread the virus, right? So as long as we take enough precautions and aren't idiots about it and don't spread the virus, hypothetically, saying we all have the virus, which none of us are showing symptoms anyway.
Right.
Even though it doesn't say a lot for this, because they can stay dormant for like 14 days. So who the fuck knows? So as long as we treat each other like they have it, even though none of us are exhibiting it, I don't think we're doing anything wrong.
Yeah. Also, we are on the tail end of the stay-at-home order and everything like that.
Of stay-at-home.
Of the first phase of stay-at-home.
Until people go out en masse. What the fuck? I said en masse last night.
When you go
my sister's like,
Moss.
what the fuck did you say?
When people go out and live Moss in Taco Bell, they sit in the dining room.
Taco Bell's dining rooms were pretty gross to begin with.
Yeah.
That's part of the experience, though.
I think I'm more prepared to fight off coronavirus since I've spent so much time in Taco Bell's.
We're immune. Anyone that eats Taco Bell has immunity.
Yeah, that's the big joke around Quaker Town, is that as long as you spent time at the Q Mart, you're fine.
Then I'm fine.
That's amazing.
We're doing I'm excited, though. We get to see Droney.
I am too.
Droney's coming out. I'm excited for Droney, dude.
I'm excited
and the
for
other
Droney to be
Chris.
spitting mad
bars.
Mad bars. Mad knowledge on
freestyling the entire hike.
Flora.
Oh,
he sent me this like 16 long Snapchat video where he just talks about this one plant on the forest floor of where he was walking around taking pictures one day, and he has a weird encyclopedic knowledge of certain subjects that I really appreciate, and I hope he could bring that to the table tomorrow.
Whenever I spend time around him, I'm like, I'm wasting too much time doing nothing, because he knows like a lot of shit.
Did you
listens to a very wide variety of music and stuff. I'm like, what am I doing?
Just listening to the White Stripes.
That's not true. Right now I'm listening to Girlwood, I think is their name.
Girlwood.
Listen, Pat. All you have to do is listen.
Girlwood's fucking lit, dude. Everybody listen to Girlwood.
Listen to all the music I listen to, and then you're fine.
Yeah, and then I'll be
Chris Droney sent me that snap streak, like that chain of snaps that you're talking about, on my day off, and I woke up at like noon and got it all and watched it like in my bed. I think the snap I sent to him was just me lying down before I showered in my bed, just like, why did you send me this? Just like it was just like asking him why he sent it.
Funny. Excuse me. I was gonna say we should get him in here, but he's not online right now, unfortunately.
He's keeping people in line at Costco, bro.
Oh, that's right. It's Monday.
He's an enforcer at Costco.
He is. I'm proud of him.
I'm surprised he's able to come out tomorrow. I know Schnick works tomorrow. I'm surprised he's able to come out. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited to like see other people.
He's sick of me.
I am sick of Lizzy. Robert lives really close to like the next house down from this McDonald's that we go to, and we went to eat there, and he walked over. He didn't walk. He actually drove because he's a douche. But we talked from car to car, like yelling at each other through the windows and shit.
So that's like normal volume for you anyway, though.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And that was weird. It was weird to like talk to another human being that wasn't my family, my immediate family that I live with, or Lizzy. And Robert was like, I think we're all going to be really socially inept for a little bit. It's going to take a little bit for things to not be weird.
This is my time to shine.
Because yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was just like, I don't know how to talk to another person that's in front of me in real life right now, kind of thing. You know, I'm used to being on Discord where I'm like playing a game and I can like I can choose to engage in a conversation whenever and it's okay. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But you can't do that in real life because someone's standing in front of you and they're like waiting for a conversation to continue. So I'm a robot now, I think is the problem.
That's good.
I think the cybernetics are kicking in. You know,
I don't know. The pizza
People-
delivery guy is always pretty celebrated. Like that's the dopest shit when they show up.
I
You're
agree,
like,
but I
fuck
was
yeah.
just talking to Josh and Amrest before the show, and apparently they get blank stares and nobody says anything.
Oh, yeah.
a lot of the time,
That's
which
weird.
I never experienced. That sounds awful. If
I'm
you
sure
do that,
you're still getting
you're a
stiffed
cock.
on tips and stuff.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, we're getting stiffed pretty not consistently. I mean, it's actually I will say this, and this is not to brag or whatever. This whole quarantine COVID-19 thing has increased Domino's sales like double. It's insane. Like we're doing in terms of like money, it's pretty nice right now. Obviously, it's a horrible thing that's happening, but in terms of like the emotion and stuff too, we're still getting the kind of weird like brain dead kind of customers where like we'll show up to people's doors and it's almost like they didn't order. I can't tell you how many times I've had to start.
Weird.
Yeah, it's weird. I can't tell you how many times I've had to start a conversation by going, "You ordered pizza, right?" Because of how they're looking at me. And they're like, "Oh yeah, I did." And I'm like, "Then why were you looking at me like I'm like I'm like an enemy approaching your house?" Like it's really weird. It's a weird vibe, and thankfully it's not all the time, but it's enough of the time where I'm like, I don't know. It just makes me wonder what's going through their heads, you know?
I don't understand how people can just be rude to like delivery drivers and stuff, or delivery, or at least pizza, you know? Because like when I open the door, like you're giving me my food,
Right.
and like,
That's fine.
and I'm a very awkward person, so you're just like, oh, thank you, like, honey, thanks, and bye, and then, but if you're just like mean, it's just making it awkward and weird more than it already is.
It's pretty bizarre. I won't lie.
I know what happens, and they always leave a good tip. But the people who don't have that level of like understanding, just you have to work at a job like that. That's really degrading and demeaning to. I think everyone should work a job like that in there at some point, just to get that awful feeling that will hopefully stick with you for the rest of your life of what that's like.
I feel like people just don't have good enough imaginations. Because they always like, when something goes wrong, it's always like, this guy's fucking with me or something. Or it's like, he's trying to make my day worse. Just imagine a scenario where he's not and be like, that could also be the case. Maybe I shouldn't be fucking mad at him for something that I'm like assuming he did bad.
It's really easy to kill the messenger all the time, especially when you're the person they see. You're like the end of the chain.
Right.
But
You're the face of the organization.
Yeah, I think I'm the CEO of
It's like,
this
believe it or
company.
not, I don't make decisions at the company I work for. And no one consults me on anything.
There's just certain kinds of people that don't have the ability to critically think or break down how something must work in order to understand that it's usually not even a singular person's fault at all in general. Like, even if, say, fucking the pizza got made slower because we were short on ingredients they had to scrounge for, because a delivery driver for some other company that we outsourced to was late and shit on their delivery by a day, and now there's just so many things that can happen. So it's just unreasonable for you to kill the messenger almost in any situation. It's just usually not that simple. I think if things were that simple, there would be less problems because they'd be easier to fix and troubleshoot. That's just not the case, but people they just can't like figure that out. But like I said, it also comes from a lack of experience. Like you understand those things a lot better after you've seen it, after you've been around certain things like that, to even know what the process is, to know how many fucking things could go wrong. Like when I watch a movie now that's bad, knowing what I know now as opposed to, many years ago, like, if someone gives a bad performance, I know better now than to just blame the actor immediately because that's the person that you see doing it. It's like, well, maybe the script was a little weak. Maybe the director gave shitty direction to that actor. You know what I mean? Like, there's just
Maybe George Lucas
things.
was high on cocaine the whole time.
Yeah, maybe George
don't
Lucas.
send death threats to Jar Jar.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe Hayden Christensen can emote a little bit more.
Literally, exactly. Like that's where that gets ridiculous and heavily irrational and destructive. Is like, just to say Ahmed Best should kill himself because Jar Jar is a shitty character, which happened in mass, is just so blatantly ignorant to the movie making process to understand that
Especially because
did a fucking great job given his material. You know what I mean? Like he knocked it shit out of the park.
he put himself out there to do something, and then some dude is gonna hide behind a screen name is like, this dude should kill himself.
Yeah,
and he's like, ha, I won because I was not courageous. Like, I don't know, he wouldn't know what that's like because he's not courageous enough to try and go out there and do something and attach his name to it, and just be like, here it is. You get to make your own judgment on it. I've done all I can.
You become, one thing I've learned is I think you become you can still be critical and flex these critical muscles where appropriate, but the more you immerse yourself, at least like in our case, in the arts or whatever, the more you immerse yourself, the more you do those things, the more you surround yourself with people that do these things, and you are able to be a lot less critical of the small things, of the flaws of things. They almost become cool because it's like a sign of the process, to me at least. You know what I mean? When there's a little hiccup or something like that, but it's just easier for you to understand the point A to point B to point C, to where if someone now makes a song I don't really like that much, I'll still there's still a good chance that I'll find a lot of things about the song that I like, because I'm way less privy to being upset at the artist for making a song I didn't like, as opposed to respecting the artist and for their effort and willingness to try and put themselves out there in that capacity, whether it be with a movie or a song or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's actually made me less jaded when it comes to more independent shit, especially. Because it's just like, we're all in this together, man. Like, I'm not going to sit here and nitpick your fucking short film at this festival. Like, I could have done it better because I didn't make it. I didn't do it. You know what I mean?
It's like, I didn't work on a script for 6 years and then scrounge together all the money I have to fucking throw together this movie.
And the end product probably wasn't even what they thought it was going to be in the beginning, you know?
Yeah. And it's
I didn't self-fund a passion project. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to rip this thing to shreds because it's like, dude, it's fucking great job that you hold. The fact that you even finished it is something that like 90% of anyone doesn't even get to. You know what I mean?
I have a friend who worked on a short film and is still working on a short film that he really believes in and wants to I think eventually pitch to sorry, it's not a short film. I'm sorry. It's like a series that he's working on, and he wants to pitch it to Netflix, but he also wants to finish a pilot episode. And even the pilot episode is taking a long time to finish because he literally told me straight up, he was like, I'm working as a manager at a pool supplier and I'm just self-funding everything. He was like, I just save up bit by bit and just hire people out and get a couple scenes done. And then as soon as I run out of money, we pause production and I go back to working that job. And it just it goes right back to what you're saying, which is just how dare anybody just be like, wow, this is bad, if the person is throwing themselves so hard into that and it's something they clearly care about, you know?
Yeah. So. I just watched a movie called Irreversible. It's a French movie. It's a French horror thriller movie, I guess. And I really didn't like it, but I could tell that it was made well. And I didn't like it because it made me feel strongly about it in a certain way, which I guess was the point of the movie in the first place. So I was like, I don't like this movie, but I appreciate the way it was filmed and everything, you know?
I've started to realize that I like art the most when it's so unique to that person that it couldn't be anyone else's work.
Yeah.
Like Girlwood. You listen to it and I'm like, no one else could fucking do what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it so much more because that's so unique. They're putting themselves out there. And it's such I don't know. They have such a positive message too. I don't know. It's so cool. That's also, if you notice, a lot of the people you respect as artists, if you hear them talk about stuff that's generally regarded as bad, they don't rag on it as much. In their field, they don't rag on it as much as most people do, because they still get well, it's a miracle to get a movie finished that's good to begin with. Let alone everything aligns and like all your actors do their jobs so cohesively that it like turns into an amazing masterpiece.
I feel that way. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
That was because it's so hard to get to. Even finishing a movie is an achievement, let alone making a good movie.
I feel that way when I watch high school plays or musicals, because it may not be perfect, but they're all putting their heart and soul into that, you know, and they took a long time to get to that point, and I always cry because it's just like good for them, you know.
It's like it's really easy to give your opinion from a seat in the audience in the dark. You should imagine going up on the stage and giving your opinion.
Yeah.
And then
that's like
doing something harder than that.
Yeah, me in high school, I wanted to be the person on the stage, but I wasn't good enough. So I really appreciate it from being behind stage and seeing how much work and effort is put into a play or a musical.
I relate to that a lot. I'm never gonna sit there and judge even a high school level play, because I never took the plunge to actually try to do it when I wanted to. And so they're all, anyone up there, no matter how bad they do, is still better at that than I am. So I should not in any capacity be overly critical about their work. And when I say critical, you can critique something without being a douche about it. That's one thing like I hate about a lot of critics just in general, but not just in general, especially on YouTube or on Twitter. Like, people think being critical and giving criticism means to try to go out of your way to be the most demeaning and diminutive and negative you possibly can. Find as many negative aspects about that thing you're talking about as possible. Be as hyperbolic as and I get some of it's for entertainment value, you know what I mean? But channels like fucking Cinema Sins and fucking Your Movie Sucks and shit like that, like, they're just douchebags. It's like none of these people have ever fucking made anything other than a YouTube video shitting on people making things better. And they're going to sit here, and I am the only people who respect those people's opinions are also of like mind that have not done anything like that. And it's like, I'm supposed to sit here and value what you're saying when you really don't know what you're talking. Like, you're like a professional viewer. Like, that's as much as you bring to the table, you know what I mean, in your expertise. I much more value someone who's lived it, who's done it, who has, who can put their money where their mouth is. And, that was one thing I really liked about going to L-Tri-C, is that I was learning from professors in these respective fields that had done it, that had worked at these things. I knew somebody who, when it was time to go to college and stuff, when we were all graduating, they went to college to be a music teacher, but they had not really made any music themselves. I mean, they had been in plays, they had performed, but they had never, they never like made something original and released it and felt that and everything like that. So I just sat there and I was like, if I were one of your students 5 years from now, when you're in a classroom 4 years from now, whatever, I would kind of be like, I don't know, like, why, like, why should I really listen? It's like, you just went to school to learn how to teach. You know what I mean? You just learned how to teach this. You didn't even learn how to do it. So, like, it's just a weird dynamic with shit like that to me.
I get that.
I think like, it's a hard subject because, like, I agree with you when it's like,
but it's also I'm sorry. You finish.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna say, I think that it's like, for me, I had to learn that because I now I have, like, it's not that I didn't have respect before, but like it's really easy to fall into the sort of negative black hole of being a critic and being critical of things and how and not understanding the difference between the two, because the market is very saturated with people just being mean to each other. That's just the majority of people. It's just people just being mean to each other. It doesn't matter if it's at the AAA Hollywood level. It doesn't matter if it's video games or movies or short films or a theatrical play. It doesn't matter. It's like it's saturated with people just being mean to each other, unfortunately. And so when people first walk into that, they think that's normal. And they think it's the way that you get heard and the way that you voice your opinion is just being the loudest, the meanest, the most belligerent that you can be, which is why you go on Rotten Tomatoes and you read reviews that are like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. The person that made this should die. Like, obviously they don't say that, but it's like that level of criticism.
Some of them do, though.
And so, yeah, some of them do. And so when you're entering this
years ago, as far as I'm.
Hey, man. When you're walking into the film, when you're walking into like an industry like that, it's very easy to fall into that. It's very easy to think that's normal, but it can be taught, and people can be taught the correct way to view and take in media and the correct way to give criticism, which people to progress in this industry need to be given criticism, but it can be constructive and it can be positive criticism. And that element can be taught to people, both receiving and giving. And for me, going to LTRIC really helped with that, because I met people that were making things at that level, at the indie level. And I learned very quickly to appreciate what they were doing, regardless of whether or not the end product was amazing or not amazing or what have you, because they were able to set out and do something and then finish it. And so over time, and then meeting people outside of college that were doing something similar. I mean, I referenced the guy who like paid his way through this series that he's still working on. Just ultimate respect. And so I think that it's a hard subject to touch on because of how normal it is to just be mean to each other, you know? But I do believe that can change. I think that it's not just a black and white, like people who prescribe to that way of thinking are just awful and can never be changed. And people that take in that type of criticism, like people that like watch videos like yourmoviesucks.org or what have you, you know, are immediately just believe the exact same thing. Because I think the reason for people watching those things is because they think that's all there is, and they've been cultured in thinking that that's the way you criticize.
In the spirit of this conversation, though, I think a lot of the problem with those two, like CinemaSins, I think the problem, like they make a really simple kind of video, really, where it's supposed to be easily digestible. It's really like you can learn a lot from the videos still. I don't think it's necessarily presented that way. I think a lot of it's consumed a certain way, but like you can, like CinemaSins, I don't think should be taken as like, look how bad this movie is because of these things. It's like, which one of these things actually matters when it comes to movies? Like you didn't notice this when you're watching it. It really doesn't matter in the end anyway. Like
Wait, did we lose Pat? I can't hear Pat.
Oh no.
I can hear you.
I can hear Pat.
I can't hear anybody. Okay, so it's my fault. Okay, 1 second. Sorry, I just like I cannot hear anything. Can I hear people?
Oh man, Josh.
I hate this.
Keep going, I guess. I don't know. Wait for Josh.
Die?
I don't know.
You can keep going, Pat.
We should keep going so that there's actual like noise potential. Well, fuck the
okay,
content.
now I can hear everybody again. I don't know what that was. I'm sorry, Pat. What were you saying?
Your
Anyway.
headphones might be close to dying.
No, because normally it gives like a beeping thing, but it just like it was weird. There was no noise, anything. It just like stopped producing audio. Anyway, sorry.
Basically,
Sorry,
to sum
Pat.
it up, I don't think it's fair to those channels to just not give them a chance, because they're
What do you mean by
and
that?
we're kind of also doing to them the same thing that we said they were doing to the industry.
I
That's
agree.
a big circle you can just get in
I
with
agree.
anything.
It's
I
true.
agree to disagree on that one, because I think
also don't
when
know
you-
enough about. I don't know. I mean, I haven't watched Your Movie Sucks, but I mean, CinemaSins, like I think you can consume that in a positive way.
Well, I
You're
think
not just like this movie sucks because it has this many flaws. I think
I
you can
don't-
learn from those videos, and I don't know what the intention behind them is.
I don't watch any of those channels, but I think that with things like that, they have the potential to be consumed in two different ways, either as like absorbing a critique or as a like an educational source. And I think that those require two different approaches to how you consume it. I don't know if either of those fall into either of them because I don't give a shit about content creators that critique them. Not something I'm interested in.
Do you think that should be? Do you think the learning approach is really the problem here? Then maybe, or like the approach, the consumption approach is really the problem here. Then,
I mean, it sounds like the way that they're critiquing things is bad. People in general critique things poorly because often, especially really at any level, a lot of people have a problem with like treating like their opinion matters like more than like from subjectively more than objectively. You often hear the way people say things like, I don't like this, it is bad, as opposed to like, it is just objectively bad. Like, I don't like, I don't know, fucking tomato sauce, but that doesn't mean tomato sauce sucks. It just means that I don't like it or something,
Dude,
you know?
you hit the nail on the head right there. Honestly, I think people misunderstand that anybody can be a critic when, like, I guess that's true, but you need to.
That's like the customer is always right thing.
Yeah,
like,
and I don't
people
think
are like, that means I'm always right, but no, it just means it's more like the consumer's right because they consume something, and you want to.
We're getting paid to make you right.
Right.
Like, people need to learn how to convey their opinions or feelings or thoughts in a way that is constructive and can be digested and understood in a way that doesn't sound just like, I don't like this, it's bad. To understand the lingo in which you need to convey those ideas properly for it to be substantive, that you said anything at all. You know what I mean?
There's
like
so much of that, especially in the gaming community. It's like
oh my God.
vile. It's awful.
Dude,
I mean, it's everywhere.
It was actually one of the most grave examples I was going to give. There's a lot of people online who just shred video games constantly, and I can understand. I just hit my mic, and I can understand.
No, I heard it. Don't worry.
At a AAA level,
Wait.
if you want to,
No.
if you want to go and you want to witch hunt Electronic Arts for being predatory as a publisher, because it does, I think, a lot of business practices of a lot of publishers in AAA get to the point where it actually hampers the quality of a developer's product, a developer's vision that they had, either because it's getting rushed, they're asking for microtransactions to be injected into it, whatever. But at an even smaller level, like, if you're really going to sit here and shred someone's game they made, I challenge you to even go attempt to make a prototype of a basic video game. Like understand how many qualifiers I just put on that for it to even be reasonable at all for anyone to attempt. You know what I mean? Like, because what goes into making a game is fucking ridiculously complicated and takes a ton of knowledge and skill, to the point where it's laughable that some keyboard warrior is going to sit behind a microphone and shred some indie game, playing it on Steam. Oh, I downloaded it in a minute. I'm going to play it for 10 minutes for a video and sacrifice 10 minutes of my time when this is something that someone spent fucking months making or years making. You know what I mean? And you're going to sit here for a 7-minute video and tear it to shreds like your opinion matters. And it's not even, and then on top of that, it's not even good criticism, like Zach said, where it's just like, because they've never made a game, they don't understand how to even convey their opinions about the game properly. They don't understand what reusing assets is. They don't understand what animation rigging is like. They don't understand how modeling works. They don't understand how just basic fundamental.
There you go. I'm also.
So that.
Oh.
When did I?
Zach is frozen too. He's
Zach was fine.
Oh no!
Oh no, we lost somebody.
I beat
Zach
Zach
froze.
Oh. George Brolin?
Dude, I crashed.
Hell yeah.
Oh, that's awful.
Did anyone else crash?
Did your recording crash?
We're here.
Are you good?
You're still recording?
Hey, nice man.
Pat's recording safety, so
I don't know why that happened. I have nothing else running.
I'm sorry, bro. Not
down
even
with
Realm of the
Mad Guy?
Bad Dog?
Nah, I closed out. I died. I was going to take a
Pirate too
screenshot.
hard.
It said killed by Fat B.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just it's something that over like recently, probably within the last year, has really gotten my goat like more than ever before in my life. And I don't know, maybe it's because of, I think a lot of it actually has to do with this show. And it's like when you bring people in on a weekly basis and they sit in front of you and they talk about what they go through to make the things they make, to put out for the sake of nothing more than, at least at a surface, like at least at, you know, as it stands right now, a lot of people we talk to are indie, are just doing it. They're not getting paid much or at all to do these things. So they're making these things, sacrificing all this time because they love it, because they want to give people something that maybe they'll like. You know what I mean? And so when you sit there and have those conversations with people for so long, it's, I don't know, it's just when I see people online so like haphazardly and carelessly dole out their criticisms and hot takes about something, it's just like, shut the fuck up, man. Like, just go, please use that time that you sat there brooding over the newest expansion, you know, not being up to par for you for the free fucking game that you play, and go actually try to do something constructive, to put a little bit of your heart into something. Because if you did that ever, you would know how shitty it would be to have someone just carelessly tear fucking your thing to shreds that you care about, you know, that is a part of you. You know what I mean? I don't know.
No, that's a great.
Pisses me off.
You can go ahead, Josh.
No, you can go ahead.
Okay. Even just like understanding how things work operationally. So like,
Yeah.
going back to like, maybe people should have to work shitty jobs. Like, so you don't spend 30 minutes typing up a
started. Holy shit.
Yeah, I know, full circle. So you don't spend like 30 minutes writing a post because some like they released a cosmetic and you're pissed about a bug or something, as if the artist should go like spend all night digging through the code and figuring out how to fix the game or something. Like,
yeah, because
it's
you
ridiculous.
wrote a 5-paragraph long Reddit post. I mean, a part of what I always try to you know, I will admit that I've written some of those posts on Reddit or whatever, or, you know, certain Steam reviews, but my tone whenever I criticize anything always comes from a place of like, the thesis for me is always the same. And the thesis is, this is good. It could be so much better. And this is why, this is what I think those things are that could make it better. You know what I mean? It's not like this. I feel like a lot of criticism is deconstructive, where you're starting from a position and you try to break down the product to rubble. Where when at least my intention when I'm writing those things or saying those things is I'm trying to build the case up to be like, this is great, this is great, this is great. Here's the issue. It could be better. You know what I mean? Like, we could get to a higher level of that. I don't know.
I think you hit the nail on the head, honestly, because like what you're saying is not just telling them what they did well as telling them what they need to work on, but it's also giving your opinion, or rather your knowledge on how it could be better. So like, I think the biggest sort of difference between, at least mostly, and obviously it varies, but I think in my experience, the biggest difference between people that are just being critical and people that are being constructively critical of things, like giving constructive criticism, is that they'll say what's good about it as opposed just to saying all the bad, and then also they will offer suggestions at how to make it better, because the end goal of constructive criticism is not just to say it's terrible, this is why. It's to say this was good, this could be better, and here's how to make it better, because the end goal is to make a better product and help them improve as creatives. And so
should be trying to help someone else's next thing be better, not
Yes,
trying
yes.
to make them stop
Yes.
doing it altogether. Because I think that's some of the
Discourage
fun.
them.
It's so stupid, but you're right. Like
Yeah,
it shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think, and something bothered me about what you said, because you said that isn't it essentially the same thing for me to say that a channel like CinemaSins sucks because of how it conducts itself in its content or whatever its tone.
Classic Pat rebuttal.
Yeah, which well, no, I mean,
John CinemaSins is my best friend.
If you hadn't, I was going to play devil's advocate with a bit of a different point, but that one was good too. I think that
This is Pat right now.
when you I think that when you build your persona, when you build your brand or your main form of content around being this source of critiques where you are a critic, where that is your bread and butter, I think you absolutely, more than anyone else, are actually the most open and susceptible to being criticized, because you're essentially, I think, in being a critic and putting yourself out there as a critic on purpose, you're essentially saying, my opinion should be valued and you should listen to it. That is why I'm expressing it. That is why I record myself talking about these things, or I document and write these things to then publish them publicly for people to see about my opinions. I believe they are important enough to be documented and to be disseminated. And I think at that juncture, you are the most deserving of being criticized. You're the most deserving of me going in the comments and being like, hey, can I see what films you've made? Can I see your discography? Can I listen to some of the things you made? Can I play your game? You know what I mean? And at that juncture, when you go, oh, I never have, you're kind of then I'm going to say, hey, I think you're a hack fraud. I think you're kind of a douche.
Big bad guy.
And
Fuck you.
yeah, and I think maybe you should occupy your time better.
guy.
Do you know what I mean? Though I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I feel like if you're going around calling yourself a critic, doling out hot takes, you deserve to be criticized the most. You know what I mean?
So I'm going to be completely honest. I don't mean to interject. I didn't hear the last 7 minutes of that because
Well, that was the last sentence I said was pretty much the summary.
Oh, okay, good. I just wanted to I got set back an hour because my headphones keep cutting out. So
Daylight savings time.
Yeah,
daylight.
headphones started early daylight savings time.
Yeah, my name is actually Benjamin Franklin, and I just invented daylight savings time because my headphones cut out.
I'm going backwards. All right, we're coming up on time too, so we gotta.
Yeah, probably.
This is the last point, probably.
Well,
Here, wait. I just want to say something.
What did I just say, Lizzy?
This is the last point.
I'm just kidding.
Lizzy's got the last word. She called it. It's her time.
Yes.
Welcome to the new podcast.
I haven't talked in the past 30 minutes, so I'm going to say something now.
Lizzy's
Go ahead.
What's a third L? Lizzy's last
line?
There it is.
Lizzy's
All right,
last
Lizzy's
line.
last line.
Okay, I saw a movie. It's a French movie, an independent horror French movie called Inside. It is very good.
It's a different independent French horror movie.
It is a different independent French horror movie, and I loved it. It was so good. So if you want to watch it, it's on YouTube and Amazon, but you have to pay for it. And it's amazing. It's about a mother that's pregnant. She gets in a car accident, and her husband dies. So she's in her house alone with the baby, and this woman comes into her house and tries to take her baby. Like, it's like the day before that it's due. So she tries to, like, at-home C-section her,
That is manga for sure.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And there is an English version, an American version, but I haven't seen that. But the French one was definitely really good. If you like gory horror movies.
Sounds lit.
Yes. Just a little recommendation, at the end. We should do that at the end of the podcast.
We should. Wait, just to wrap up Chandler's thing, though. I mean, so when you're leaving criticism, that's like your thing. That's like your work. Then I guess in that situation, it's like your response to their work is your work of criticism, because it's technically like a written piece of I don't know how. I'm just saying that's like your thing. So if that's
All right, so let's cut it right here, Zach. All right, then we're back. So okay, all right, we're gonna cut it right here, Zach. So I think after talking at length about why critics are awful or whatever the fuck, I think it would be a good idea to try to balance that out a bit, that negativity out, with maybe giving some plugs to some stuff that we do like and that you
Anthony
should just
Fantano.
go see or do or whatever. Yeah, like Lizzy did. Yeah, no, Anthony.
But I want another one though.
you can't. You don't have two.
can't have two.
What the fuck?
Why not?
Is
I'm
it a
supporting
third
local-
independent French horror movie?
No, it's not.
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, do that. Do that.
Okay, I'm gonna do mine.
Yeah.
All right. I got this shirt. It's No Swag. It has a pumpkin on it. It's from No Swag clothing brand here in Lilly High Valley. And it came with this note and a sticker. Really cute. A
Nice.
little drawing here. Probably can't see that
Not
at all.
all.
There you go. There you go. And it says, "Thanks for supporting local creatives. Keep creating and keep doing you." And it's that picture, and it's really cute.
That's
And then the
pretty positive.
sticker. Yeah, they're really cool. They're people that went to my high school, and their clothing brand is really cool.
Chandler, to book in the critic conversation, how about you recommend some critics that
Alright.
you actually like? No, I'm saying this ties into it. I'm joining. So
Mike's
Reddit.
muted.
what are some critics that you think do it well?
So let me channels that I think do criticism well, and I'll try to have a bit of a balance. Like I said, I don't watch or ingest a lot of critic type content, but there are a few critics that I think do it well and are just fun to watch and are good content creators in general. They don't just do criticisms, they inject a lot into it to the point where I could say it is a work of their own because of how much time and effort and love they clearly put into it to make it something of its own, while also being critical. I think Red Letter Media is a fantastic film critic YouTube channel. They're all very knowledgeable. I don't always agree with them, but I think that the way they talk about things is very well done. It's interesting to watch, and I think they have very good taste. Even though I don't necessarily agree with all their points, they're usually very on the money about, what may be good or bad decisions, how to make it better. That's something I love about them is they can go on a tirade about, they'll create a whole better script if a movie didn't have that great of a script in order to make it better, because they saw the potential of something. Like, that's the kind of shit I love. And they do that stuff a lot. So Red Letter Media, they're awesome. And they've also made their own short films and stuff. And then for music, I watch Anthony Fantano a lot, which might be a meme. A lot of people meme on Anthony, but I also think he's incredibly knowledgeable. He's very articulate with what he talks about. His very good taste. He's very rounded also. Like, I can't watch critics for music if they only really talk about a certain genre or something. It's boring. He's very knowledgeable about a plethora of different genres and knows decent, music theory, has been in bands, like he plays the bass, so there's a lot of, and he also has a very particular style for his videos and everything like that. And he's, I think, fun and funny to watch. And he's at the point where he's been not credited, but he's been called out by musicians for his reviews before. Like, I remember Post Malone mentioned him on a recent track. But and then I think to get a little meta, a YouTuber that criticizes other YouTubers in a way that is actually constructive and I think a little more lighthearted is Drew Gooden. It's not the primary type of content he does, but the road work ahead guy from Vine. He doesn't just shit on other YouTubers for being cringe or whatever. Like, he actually has good criticism that is substantive, even to some of the worst content creators, you know, that I think is, if they would actually watch that stuff, I think their videos would be better for it. And so he's very tasteful with that. And then in terms of video games, I think a channel like Nakey Jakey, who isn't even really a critic, but is just so lovingly in a relationship with video games that I think listening to him talk about any game is a worthwhile experience, to the point where it can make or break easily, have you decide if you wanted to play a game or not just based on what he says about it. And yeah,
It's more of a commenter than a critic.
Yeah, he's a lot more of a commentator and a lot more jokey, but I will say that a lot of the videos he makes can make me really fucking want to go play a game, or make me go, oh, I don't really have to play that game, in a weird way. There are other YouTube channels I watch that actually are critics of video games, but I think Nakey Jakey's the most like probably substantive and the least diminutive. As Zach said, very hard to come by content creators who aren't really diminutive in the gaming realm, especially when it comes to criticizing video games. It's actually so much less common to find someone who talks positively and lovingly about that medium. You know what I mean? Like, I think Jakey does. It always comes from a place of like really deep care and love and passion, as opposed to any other channel I can even think of where it's just like fucking just smut. You know what I mean? And it's just hatred. So yeah, I don't know.
Anger. All right,
Anger.
Do you have any media to recommend to people?
What?
Do you have any kind of media to recommend to people? Music, bands, artists,
Games.
movie makers?
TF2 is a free game. It's a free-to-play game. No, I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah, I wasn't really thinking about that. I was listening for some reason, so
Okay.
pass.
Josh, you want to go?
I'm a big fan of Naruto.
If you're gonna have the
Also,
voice, if you're gonna have the voice on, you have to give a real answer.
Also, I'm a big fan of George H.W. Bush's coronation.
So what's the
Chandler's face.
criteria here for sharing things?
Just stuff that you've been into during quarantine.
Not
No,
what
I've
you-
actually,
not what you.
I've actually been watching Naruto through, and I'm on season 4, and I've been liking it so far.
All right.
Chandler.
Did you change
I mean,
your
like-
mind, Zach?
Just because Naruto's cringe, like not even because he's using the fucking voice modulator.
No, I
Hey, man,
don't know.
I'd never seen it, and I'm watching it, so it's pretty fun.
I'm
We
sorry,
actually have to end this podcast at some point, guys. I'm sorry.
Pat. You didn't recommend anything.
I know I did.
God-
Because you guys keep
God
fucking
forbid.
talking about Naruto.
I don't think Naruto was the main subject here.
All right. Go listen to Girlwood. That's GRL Wood. And then I watched Wolfpack live at Madison Square Garden. I've never listened to Wolfpack before, but that's a fucking crazy performance. They do yoga in the middle of it, like yoga meditation.
Interesting.
That's fucking
Oh,
crazy. It's like
I-
2 hours long. Everybody should go watch it.
I figured out why my kitchen was so yellow, because it's the only tungsten light that I ever really have on. Most of the light in the apartment is all daylight from windows,
Right.
so it looks extra yellow in there compared to like the walls, which are just lit by the window.
So Zach recommends natural light over tungsten.
I
Was
like vitamin
Do
D.
you have a fourth recommendation? Did you do your fourth recommend? I'm lost on what you've. Oh wait, no, you recommended the shirt. Okay.
Yeah. Also, Peaky Blinders.
All right. So
Catch up.
So I'm gonna play us out. Do you have a play out thing, Chandler?
No, I don't. I didn't. I halfway through the show, I was like, I don't have a thing to play out, so I don't know how that's gonna go. So I'm glad.
Halfway through the show, or halfway through the first show that we're scrapping?
Yeah, the first show 1 or show 2?
Show 1.
Okay.
I'm dying.
Fucking, you want me to play something?
Yeah,
Join
we'll
us.
get it.
Oh fuck, I forget how this is going.
I'm gonna have to credit two people.
Ooh,
I don't know.
that
what
sounded
was.
weird.
That's that's me hitting my guitar on the chair. Fuck. What was I doing?
Thank you all so much for watching, listening, hanging out, and tolerating us in our not so usual quarantining selves. We hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next week on the Poorly Edited Podcast. Signing out. Catch any other episodes on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, anywhere else you can find audio or video files.
Thanks for tuning in.